Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And I'm Carnage Panda.
And we're back for more anime talk. We are here for our... I think this is week 5, technically.
Yeah, week 5.
And this week, we've had some interesting episodes.
Yeah, we've had some interesting episodes. We've had some not so interesting episodes. We have a trend that seems to be developing.
Yeah.
With one show at least.
And a trend with another show that was completely broken this week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get right on into it and see how strange a week we really had.
Okay, so the first episode that we decided this week was the weakest episode was Girls Last Tour, which...
What?
I'm not surprised.
No!
No, wait, I am surprised. Never mind. Well... This show is just the cute girls doing cute things, and that's just all they do. And I was kind of sleeping on this episode. It was putting me to sleep because not only were they raining, it was raining in the episode, it was raining outside. So it was kind of relaxing, and I just started, like your cat or whatever was sleeping, snoring, and I was like, that's starting to get infectious. I better do that as well. And
he's not lying. I was sitting there watching and my eyes started to droop a little bit. Wait, no, show's still going. Gotta watch this. So this episode was called House/Nap/Sounds of Rain.
Yeah.
And that's what it's called.
It's kind of bizarre in the middle there with the nap episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
So first they go house. They find like I don't know if it's supposed to be like an old barracks or
no, it's an apartment building.
It's an apartment building? Okay.
These weird apartment buildings that they had on, like, just towering spikes or something.
It was weird. And they found a house, and they speculate, like they go all Animal Crossing on it. They're like, oh, we're going to put a bed over here, and a bookshelf over there, and a pantry over here. And it's like, they're, like, materializing these things out of thin air and putting them in places in the room.
Yeah, and I thought these girls were actually dumb enough that these things were going to be actual creations. I expected, what's her name? The blonde hair?
Yeah.
I expected her because she was like, I'm going to claim the top bunk on this bed. And I just expected her to walk over there and climb up in it and just be like floating there or something. And that's what I get out of this show. I would totally expect that.
But then it's just a cute, again, it's cute girls doing cute things. And then she, after they spend the night there, goes... if we stay here, we'll run out of food really fast.
Will they?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Well, whatever. I'm not paying attention to what they're saying because...
And then they just go, you know what? Let's go. We're going to leave now. And then, you just has, the realization... Again, it's because, this show tries to put in this, cute version of philosophy. Just sort of goes, our vehicle is where we sleep and we live, so this is our home. This is our house. And it's just sort of the cute little philosophy, a home is where your heart is, all that cute little jazz.
She tried to imagine a roof over the back of the vehicle. And Chi, is that right?
Yeah.
I can't remember their names that well. They've got forgettable names. I just like their antics, really.
Yeah,
because they're just they do humor with this, and that's what I like this show. What I like about this show, but they also try to get this introspective and philosophical stuff. I don't think it works too well because these girls are just too stupid to understand anything of the sort, and it kind of detracts from it, in my opinion.
It does. And that's part of the problem with the show is it's just like I said last week, it's like, hey, we're going to put this little bit of philosophy in your face, but then we're going to undercut it with this, slapstick or cuteness. And it continues that in this episode until part 2 of the episode.
Yeah, part 2 where Nap, it's basically just a Shaft show, and Shaft, they like to get high on LSD and just do all this weird crap. She's imagining you as a giant and a fish, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's
this totally surreal episode.
I actually like the artwork in it. And,
yes.
And that was the high point of the episode for me, was just this segment in the middle with the Nap, because she's trapped in this dream. It's like a dream. It really, that's what you're looking at, and I think they nailed it with that.
Yeah, and it's I mean, if the whole episode was just Nap and they elaborated upon it, they didn't show what Yu's dreams were, and I think that was a mistake. If the whole episode was Nap, and it went through Chi's mind, Yu's mind, maybe back and forth.
I don't think there was a missed opportunity there because, you know, they're always pointing out that there's nothing inside of Yu's head, so we would just see a black screen for like 5 minutes.
And it would probably just be her eating shit.
Yeah.
Just like, nom, nom. Which, Nap concludes with Chi waking up and Yu sitting there talking to her sleep, talking about how, oh yes, please, more food. And Chi looks around and she sees a rock. And I was like, is she gonna bash her head?
I thought she was gonna brain her right at that point. She's just to take that rock and be like, bam!
And she shoves it in her mouth. It's so
I would have done that too, personally.
But here's where the episode falls apart. The episode then turns into the sounds of rain. They get caught in the rain. They go into this metal structure that looks like a face.
Yeah, it's a face.
And they hide from the rain. And Yu's bored because she's sitting there reading to pass the time. Mm-hmm. Yu's got nothing. So she starts banging on the metal structure to make noise, having fun with it, in which she takes the pole that Yu has and beats her over the head with it to shut her up.
Yeah, I really think this fell apart at the end because it was too long, and what they were trying to set up was a rhythm and a beat with all this stuff, with the
raindrops,
with the cans and the raindrops. Yeah. And this is like half of the episode, I believe.
It felt like
it just takes way too long, and then finally we hit the payoff where they have the beat and everything, and I thought that was cool, but it just took way too long for it to get up to that, and it also didn't help that we were falling asleep at that point to the sounds of rain that were going outside and on the episode.
Yeah. A little inside baseball behind the scenes. It's the last episode we watch every week. And it's just so we are sort of spent, and it ends with just like, the fucking scene from the old Disney movie Bambi, drip, drip, drop, little raindrop flowers or whatever, and you're sitting there.
Yeah, we were just both dozing off, and we're like, what happened there? I guess it was a really nasty storm or something, but where we were, it was just like raining, and there was a little thunder, but it was mostly relaxing, and it almost put us out.
But then it's like, it's almost the writers were like, oh shit, that's right, we need to put a little bit of fake philosophy in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, Yu just puts, says, after the rain's gone, it's now dead silent, and she goes, is this how the world always is? And she just goes, yeah. And it's just sort of like, and then it just fades to credits. I'm just sort of like, the show it's a good show, but it's like, we always make fun because it's the weakest out every week.
Yeah, it seems to be the weakest.
But it's still good, but this one really, really felt weak.
Yeah, just stay tuned for like weeks 6 through 12 when it surprises us or whatever, and we're like, oh my god, this was the best show ever.
Next, This Bucks tradition so hard. The next episode that we felt was the weakest was Land of the Lustrous.
Yeah, I really like this show, but they kind of fell apart this week. It was kind of boring. I mean, still got everything that's going for it. It looks great. It's got great music, but
it started good because it picks up right where the last episode leaves off. Foes is in danger. She's she's about to be taken by the Lunarians. King is like, okay, I gave you a gem. You give me back my brothers. This giant shell behind them.
Yeah, and they kind of renege on the deal. They're like, you gotta get us more of these. We gotta have them. And they're Pokemon to us. We gotta have them all.
Yeah, and then there's just the sound of I smell food, and King's brother, whose name is, I'm like, what? They threw random letters together to make a name, and it starts with an A. That's all I remember.
I can't remember. It was really long too.
Yeah. King's brother just sort of slurps out of his shell, and it's like it starts with oh my god, look at this giant eyeball. It's got like 18 eyeballs.
Yeah, it's like they're setting up some horror from the deep, some Lovecraftian horror,
and then it has the derpiest face you've ever seen.
And he's just so cute, and he goes on this murderous rampage, kills all the Lunarians.
Yes. He falls into the sea, which, if you remember from the last when King fell into sea, it shrunk him back down to a teeny no slug thing. Well, he falls in the sea and actually turns into this... He keeps saying he and brother, but he's very androgynous figure with tentacles everywhere. And just wipes out the Lunarians. Actually hurts foes in the process by accident.
Yeah, it kind of cleaves off half of her face.
And then they decide, well, we'll just sort of take her back. So, cut to the Gems and Adamantine, and, because I remember saying the Sensei, you know.
Yeah.
And they're at the beach looking for foes. They sort of form a search party, and they're going into the water to look for her, and Cinnabar's, like, off to the side hiding, like, it doesn't involve me.
Yeah, she's like working on getting her Sharingan or whatever, and
turns around and finds that King and her brother just sort of brought her to the shore, dropped her off, and went, someone will find her, and then left.
This is kind of the part of the episode where everybody started acting really stupid. Like, they just drop her off there. Fos is dropped off right by Cinnabar
with a gift, a bit of King's brother's shell.
Yeah, but then Cinnabar, in all of his or her wisdom, is like standing 20 feet away from all the other gyms and Sensei, and
they're standing right there.
Drags her back to home base. Doesn't alert them or anything, and they cut to like 9 hours later. They're still looking for foes, and they're like, we can't find her. Well, what's going on?
And the doctor of the group literally has to trip over, was it her or the shell piece?
I think she tripped over the shell piece.
And she's all pissed about it until she finally turns and sees foes laying there, legless, because she got her legs ripped off last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the rest of the episode is dedicated to rebuilding Foes' legs and putting her back together. And
there's some glimpses of what might have been, like, there's things where if they lose part of their bodies, they're going to lose their memories, and they kind of show that with Foes. But it's kind of hand-waved because she just gets back up and starts walking as yay, but...
Yeah, it's like she loses because she has no legs. They use the shell to recreate new legs. And it's just sort of like, oh, she has to go through this rehabilitation process. Okay, yeah. She has to relearn her friends' names.
It's like she's in the outpatient ward or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, 5 seconds later, she's fine. And...
Yeah, she's standing. All of a sudden, she can stand. She's like, oh... And, well, she doesn't regain her memories, but I mean, she's just like, all of a sudden, she's just fine. And then we find out she has the powers of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, she goes scenic speed there and just rushes across the plains, and nobody can see her. She's too fast for them.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah, this is just the weakest episode of Hoseki we've seen so far because nothing happens in it, really.
Nothing. I mean, it promised so much. There was a fight at the front, which it wasn't even a fight, because King's brother just wiped out the Lunarian without effort.
Guys, how did he get captured? He seems kind of overpowered.
Well, that's the thing. Remember, they got taken to the moon to be harvested and fattened up, and they become dung. So it's like...
Okay.
And then when he hit the seawater and became himself again, he was...
dumb and cute, and then,
And then androgynous and deadly.
But, yeah,
So, that's...
disappointing this week.
Yeah.
They could have done so much more with that.
They could have, but it was all hand-waved. It was hand-waved, like, okay, this happened, okay, move on. Oh, this happened, okay, move on. And they were all stupid. They all did something stupid.
I mean, like, I said this is like the most unwatched show over in the West, but over in Japan it's killing it, so we're definitely going to get like a second season, but I don't want to see like episodes like this where nothing happens.
Right. So, that was Land of the Lustrous this week, and weird that it's this far down the list.
Okay, so the next episode that we watched, that we decided on this week, number 3 spot, is Kino's Journey.
It got bumped up the list because Lustrous was actually that boring this week.
Yeah, if not for that, Kino probably would have been number 4 again, but I actually liked this episode somewhat, but it was also really confusing.
It really was, because, like, we went a whole episode and Kino didn't shoot anybody.
Yeah, nobody's head exploded. No, Kino did not get offended and just, like, one-shot somebody in the face. It's just... That was really bizarre, but at the same time, that they're going through the country of liars or whatever.
Well, first we got a mini episode before the episode.
We got a mini episode, which it didn't make any sense either. He's just like
hey, here's a museum dedicated to the first president of this country who was a traveler but is no longer, and here's his what do they call motorrad, but it hasn't talked in, no one's ever in living memories heard it talk. So Kino and Hermes talk to it, and it talks about how it's living in hell.
Yeah, I wants to get out of there. He's like, I was built to be ridden. I'm just sitting here wasting away. I want to get out of here. Can you get out of me here? And Kino's like, no.
It's like, I can't do that because then the townspeople will hate, will hate me. He's like, then smash me to pieces.
Like okay, let's review what Kino has done.
Yeah.
Got into the country of the murdering people. Got in a fight with somebody there, and he got brutally murdered by the townsfolk. He or she went on a death tank, went through another country, completely destroyed part of their economy there, and in the last episode, killed a bunch of black mages.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it has nothing to do with worry. I don't think Kino cared about being hated by the country. I think she was actually just trying to set up, because I think she was trying to find another traveler. She wasn't going to let anything happen to the motorrad because she wouldn't be able to take it with her.
Well, she couldn't take it with her, obviously, because she has Hermes.
Yeah, and she's not going to destroy it, because that's another thing. The motorrad said, then destroy me. He's like, I can't, because then people will destroy me.
Give me mercy killing.
So it then ends with Kino talking to a little girl, a little boy.
Little boy or girl.
And he's like, I want to be a traveler. And he's like, hey, go to the museum and talk to the motorrad about that. He might have some answers for you.
Yeah.
And it was just cute little episode, didn't amount to anything. It was just sort of like, it was like a character piece on Kino. Mm-hmm. Which is like, and I think it makes a change because it shows Kino as more of an intellectual than the other episodes have shown. The other episodes have sort of
Kino's just been like brute force through the whole thing.
Yeah. And we find another episode, and it's the Land of the Liars.
The Country of Liars.
And it's another episode. In short, there's no killing, no murderizing. In fact, Kino really has no effect on this place at all. It's like Kino shows up to experience a story and then moves on.
Yeah, so my main problem with that is that I could not figure out if they were lying to the audience, if it was just completely unreliable, if they were lying to themselves. There's like some law or something like in the first episode where they had to murder. There's I can't spoil that, but there's a law about murder in that episode.
Yeah, but we went over
this
that.
One, I can't figure out if it's some kind of law that they gotta lie to each other, or if they were just lying flat out. Because I think it's more interesting if they just had to lie to each other.
Possibly, it's okay. I'm going to try and break down this timeline for you. It's very convoluted. Okay. There was a monarchy. They sucked. Revolution, led by a dude who fell in love with its princess, blows them up with a grenade. He loses his mind and and can't believe that she's actually dead. The townspeople tell him a lie that no, she left to go. She became a traveler and she said she'll be back one day. So he loses his mind, believes it, and is waiting for her. But it turns out that those were body doubles. And then the princess actually and her family got out of town and now living a normal life in a neighboring country. But then she moves back to be with her beloved to find out he's insane. So she takes up, the post as his caretaker, But then it turns out that he's actually been lying about being insane.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if they were just lying, period. Their stories can't be trusted at all, or if they were lying to each other.
Yeah, but we can't do a good review on this episode because you literally have to watch it, and maybe watch it a couple times, because there's these lines that are crossing all over each other and backwards and forwards, and it's like, okay, where's the truth in the lie? It's so
I think it's more interesting if they're lying to each other. If they're just flat out lying for the sake of lying, then it's like whatever.
Yeah, so watch the episode, let us know what you think. It was just weird. It got our brains going, so that's why it's a little higher than Lustrous, because at least it actually engaged our minds.
At least it made us think.
Yeah. So that's what we thought of Kino. Give it a shot. And next, of course, the perpetual number 2 of this season.
Perpetual number 2. Maybe it'll take the number 1. or drop down, but
Ancient Magus's Bride.
yeah, this kind of continues off of last week's story and fills it in. Tells us what a sleigh beggy is.
That I liked. I liked it. We finally, 5 episodes in, we now know what a sleigh beggy is. A sleigh beggy is a human who perpetually generates, gives off, and collects magic in their being. They're basically a rechargeable magical battery.
Yeah, but it kind of like shortens their lives or something.
Yeah, at some point, its magic is so intense that it will, like, her body will eventually just one day just, I think the terminology they used was buckle under the pressure. And it sort of gave an idea that that's what happened with the dragons, is she sort of inadvertently gave off the magic that made the seed sprout within that dragon's body, and that's why she sort of just, well, that and experiencing his memories of flying through magic, that it's so much magic she just collapsed. Her body couldn't take it.
Yeah, so I really like this episode. So back in the first week, I said that I don't really like slasher flicks, but
yeah,
this had those kind of vibes to it, you know,
a little bit,
because this was just a continuation of the story of the guy that was murdering all the cats, and we would get a look inside of his shed of horrors.
Yes,
and there's some interesting shot composition or whatever here, how they do that and everything. It's kind of like jumping forward and then jumping back, and he's clearly crazy because he's murdering these cats because he thinks it's gonna save his love.
Yeah. So Matthew meets a sorcerer. He's the guy who's now the giant blob. He meets the sorcerer, and he basically tricks him. The sorcerer is doing an experiment, but he's like, no, I'm going to save your wife. But it's actually an experiment to harvest souls or something like that. Cultivate souls or something like that.
Whatever the sorcerer did is bad, and
so somehow it involved like murdering cats and gathering their blood or whatever to make a concoction that he then gave to, I can't remember his wife's name.
I don't remember it either.
But he gives it to her. And there's just this moment where he believes so hard that it's going to cure her. Mm-hmm. And she's in writhing pain. He's like, no, the sorcerer said it's okay. It's just pain at first and it'll go away. And she's on the ground. She looks up at him. Their eyes meet. They stare at each other for like 5 full seconds. And she collapsed into goo.
Yeah, she just kind of dissolves into a pile of goo. And he's like, I just didn't work hard enough on that. I need to murder more cats, and it'll fix this problem.
So he steps outside, and their cat, Tim
the Avenger,
walks up to him, and remember, I mean, they said like the story's been told across so many lives that it's altered, but they remember the basics. There wasn't an army of cats that went after him.
There was not an army of cats. Tim the cat like soloed him.
He one-hit KOs him in the throat.
Yeah, he just one-shots this guy, and it's over.
And then he talks about how he's the first king of cats. He was the first king of cats, and he gets all the cats that were trapped inside out, and they drag his ass to the river, throw it in, and then it shows his blood coming out. Yeah, it's turning into the goo.
The tossing into the ditch was correct, and
yeah,
but Tim solos. He solos the entire human universe, I guess.
Well, no, just Matthew. He just solos Matthew. And Matthew,
if we see Tim again, he's probably going to be doing some stuff. He's going to be doing work. This cat cannot stop.
And so basically, they want to be erased. Chisei refuses to do it. The first time Chisei has the choice between life and death in this world, and she finally decides life. In a sense.
Yeah.
Because she's helping them, because Matthew, and all the souls of the cats that Matthew murdered, we can't remember how to move on. We can't remember where to go, so you need to erase us. And Chisei basically uses Ariel, the wind elemental, wind fae, to basically help them move on. Mm-hmm. And it's the first episode we've seen Chisei use magic, like really use magic of her own accord, to use her mind to overcome a problem. And she basically just outright proclaims her, what would you call it? Her dedication to Elias. And it's this great character building episode for Chisei. My only complaint with it is like it looks like they're going to set up this mage versus sorcerer fight,
Yeah, it's gonna be a Dragon Ball Mega's Bride.
Yeah. But we spend the whole episode focusing on Chisei.
You know,
And after it's over, Elias just sort of like shows up as if either the fight's are, finished or it never happened. It's like, good job. And
I don't really care because I think that those final few scenes where they're like in the field and Matthew and his bride just dissolve into petals and float off on the wind. It was just gorgeous.
It was. I mean, if nothing else, for the aesthetic of this episode was so beautifully done, from dark and slasher flick style to this beautiful outcome at the end. This beautiful climax. It's definitely worth watching for that. It's a beautiful episode.
Yeah, and that definitely bumped it up to number 2, and it would have been number 1 this week if not for our this titan, this juggernaut
that's finally got its number 1 spot because of how ridiculous it was. And that's what we're going to talk about next.
Okay, so like I said, Inuyashiki demolishes everything this week.
Yes.
There's not even a contest. It's like the second episode we watched this week, and we knew, there's going to be a tall hill to climb. Another, Mega's Pride tried it, but Inuyashiki was king of the hill, and he just tossed everything off. He's like, get out of here.
Because here's the thing. We watched Lady Illustrious first. We watched them in this order. We watched Illustrious, Inuyashiki, Kino, Magus, followed by Girls Last Tour. So we watched Illustrious. We were like, oh man, what?
Yeah, what happened there?
And then Inuyashiki starts. We see this dude, this 12-foot tall.
Yeah, continuing the tradition of enormously large bad guys.
Tattooed from head to toe, with a dead woman in his bed, insinuating he, raped this chick, and she died of a drug overdose for reasons. Followed by him going to a bathhouse, to a steam house, a bathhouse, what you call it? He's going to get a sauna, thank you. And there's 3 dudes in there, and this one, I'm the badass guy, I got tattoos on me. And Shimihime, the bad guy, walks in and goes, leave. 2 guys scurry out, oh fuck, we're out of here. And the other like, fuck you, I'm not leaving.
He's like, I got tattoos, I don't have to leave.
He forces him to suck his dick. And force out an apology from around his dick. And then he's like, please just let me go. He's like, not until I come, bitch. And it's just like, whoa. And then, hard cut to these 2 girls at a store, at a restaurant, like a curbside restaurant.
It's like a bakery or something.
It's like, oh, I just found this lovely guy, and we're gonna get married, and he's my boyfriend.
He makes $300,000 a year, and she's like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, and he shows up. He's this very plain Jane looking dude, and there's this happy relationship. It's like, where did the rest of what happened to that first part? What?
Yeah.
And then it shows Shimihime again. He sees her, and he goes, that bitch there, I'm gonna rape her. He lays it out.
He's like, I like what I see there.
He lays it out to really nobody. He's just sort of talking to himself in the limo. I'm gonna rape her. I'm gonna pump her full of drugs until she dies. That's what I'm gonna do. And then he proceeds to have his goons. He's a Yakuza, by the way.
Yeah, they're all Yakuza members,
and he sends his Yakuza men to go kidnap her. And basically what proceeds is she's going to be raped and drugged, and she steals a katana out of nowhere?
Yeah, she kind of wakes up naked, and she steals his katana, which is like folded probably 20,000 times or whatever.
Yeah, and while she flails it wildly, accidentally slits his wrist.
Yeah, she nicks his wrist, and this guy bleeds more than that cat that bled out last week and Robot Jesus saved.
Yeah.
He 12-foot tall dude, like probably 20 gallons of blood just jut out.
So she gets away. She goes back to her boyfriends. They're like, what do we do? Do we call the cops? What do we do? And the Yakuza show up with Shimihime, who they just wrapped up his hand. That's all they did.
He's like, yo, I told you I was gonna rape you and put you full of drugs, and that's gonna happen.
And then,
unfortunately, he is in the same show with Grandpa Ichiro.
Or as I like to call him, Grandpa Justice. He shows up out of nowhere and proceeds to beat down all of them.
Yeah, all these Yakuza members. It was a bad day for them. They picked the wrong. They just picked the wrong show to be in.
And Grandpa Justice begins to squish Shimihime from the middle.
Okay, to put this into context. Ichiro's like 5'7" or something, and Shimi whatever is 12 feet tall.
Yeah, because
he's like twice the size of this guy.
Because when Ichiro grabs him around the middle, his head is like right here. This is where his head is.
Ichiro's head's like right in his belly or whatever. Yeah. And he just grabs him in a bear hug
and begins to
lifts him up. Like, this guy's got to weigh like 300 pounds or something. And Ichiro's like, no problem. And he's squeezing him, and this guy's like, oh my god, I'm about to die.
So he whips out a gun, clocks him in the head 7 times, which somehow knocks him out somehow?
Yeah, somehow knocks him out.
So Ichiro wakes up and goes, I'm no longer Grandpa Justice. I'm Grandpa Revenge. And the girl's been kidnapped again.
Yeah.
He goes to the Yakuza stronghold with all the Yakuza generals and men and his... He proceeds
flies down in there.
Oh my god, that scene!
He just flies down in there.
2 guys who are nonplussed by seeing this dude
they're not even phased. They're like, that happens every day, man. You need to stop. You can't come in here.
Knocks them out, proceeds to go in there with Shimihime, and beats him. He clocks him. 5'7" dude clocks him across the jaw, breaks his jaw, and destroys his face.
Yeah, so this time he completely bodies this 12-foot dude. He's laying on the ground. His teeth are missing. He's all bloody and everything.
Like, do you know who you're messing with?
He's like, Ichiro, do you know who you're messing with? I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Even if you kill me, the Yakuza will kill all your family. And it's as if that was the trigger word. He goes, oh really? And he... Like, the Yakuza, the entire Yakuza army runs into... Well, first it's like 3 guys. And they pump it full of with all these Uzis that have unlimited ammo clips. And then 5 more guys show up, and then 7 more guys show up. And they're pumping it full of these... There's like 2.5 minutes of him... And the bullets are not doing anything to him. And then his back opens up. He flies 5 feet in the air. Targets all of their eyes and the base of their spines. And fires lasers that burn out all of their eyes and severs the connection to their spine so that they're all quadriplegics and blind.
Yeah,
all of them.
And then Ichiro lays it down. He's like, you guys are never hurting another person. You can't talk to your loved ones
Well, no,
anymore.
you can talk because they're all like, who's there? I can't see. What's going on? It's like,
he says you can't see your loved ones anymore.
You'll never be able to see the faces of your children or your grandchildren. You'll never be able to lay a finger on anyone. You'll never be able to eat by yourself.
Yeah,
and hopefully by the time that when you're on your deathbed, you will have had enough time to reflect on all the evils you've caused other people. And
they just haven't learned their lesson yet.
Yeah, and then what was this? Yeah, Shimihime is like, "Is that you, old man? He'll kill you. We don't know what you're messing with." It's like,
dude, what is wrong with you? This guy just demolished your entire gang.
And it's just. He uses his phone, he reaches in to grab his phone to find out where the girl is, saves the girl, puts his hands up to her head, which I'm assuming he uses healing powers to cleanse her body of drugs.
Probably cleanse her of drugs and everything.
Picks her up Superman style, flies her back to her fiance, and that's the end of the episode. The two hug each other. He watches them with a smile, and the credits roll. It was just, oh my god!
Yeah. We've been given this flack for the good and evil thing, but this episode's what I'm fucking talking about. It was awesome from beginning to end.
Because here's the thing. It's not about good and evil anymore. Because, yes, he's the good guy, and he went to a hospital to heal everybody. Would you really call it good what he did to all of them? I mean, that's an act of anger. That is an act of vengeance. That is an act of... I mean, what is that? That is not...
I'm not even gonna feel bad because they're gangsters. They know what they're doing. They're fucking people up. They're kidnapping this girl.
Yes, I understand
kidnapping
that.
all these girls and raping them.
Yes.
And dumping their dead bodies. So
I understand that, but I'm just saying, you know, why not take him to the authorities? You know, take him. I mean, because the Yakuza they pay their way out of everything anyway. But I mean, he just decides, he goes, Sylvester Stallone and Judge Dredd, you know, it's like, I am the law! he proceeds to just lay them out. It's just like, fuck! I mean, yes, he didn't murder them, but he sort of went hero in this.
He did go hero because Hero murders everybody, and he left them alive. He wanted them to just reflect on everything, to see that they're horrible people, which they're probably not going to.
No, probably not.
Nobody thinks they're bad people.
Right.
You know, they think, you know, this is just business as usual. If people get hurt in the process of it, that's just too bad.
Yeah. So, if there's one anime you need to watch, even if you haven't watched the other episodes, it's Inuyashiki Episode 4. Fuck! That was a great episode. And it's our number 1 for the week, and it needs to be watched. Hands down.
Yeah, I can't recommend this enough, and, you know, we'll be back here with our friend Sylvester Stallone next week, so you just come back with that.
And now for our community segment, our question of the week. Last week we asked, which series do you see going all the way? Which is by the end of the season, which one's going to be the best anime? We got one response from Iona Popa, I think is how that's pronounced. He responds with, yes, I also love both shows that came out this season, Hoseki and Magus. Still, Magus is praised by everyone and gets the love that it deserves. The only show that slowly is going up in the ladder is Hoseki no Kuni, Land of the Lustrous, and at least has not a low score that it had when the first episode started.
Yeah, it's been climbing.
It has, and it's.
I think it started at like a 6.9 or something.
Well, when we got together in week 3, because we didn't get to see, start the first 2 episodes, it was at a 7.06.
Something like that. It's like at a 7.3 something now.
No, it was like 7.8.
Is it?
That's the last I saw. I thought I saw that.
I'll have to look at it again.
But so it's really rising.
It's definitely rising in Japan. Yeah. It's like the number 1 show this season. Yeah. That's not a sequel or has been airing.
Yeah. With that, we're going to go on for our next question for the next week. Question for next week. Well, you came up with this one, so you go ahead and lay it out.
The question for this week is, what is your favorite opening and ending of this season? Now, mine, you can't beat that Inuyashiki opening. It is hype as fuck.
No, it really is. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's all English lyrics. It just is. I mean, we're just talking about the visuals, the music behind it. It is. You watch that, it's one of those things, it gets you so hyped to watch the episode. Mine is also Inuyashiki. It's just so gorgeous and surreal. Mm-hmm. And it's. I mean, if you look closely in the opening, you can actually see Shimehime, and a bullet comes out of Grandpa Justice's mouth and blows his whole genital area off.
He just blows his crotch off in the opening. So you're getting some visual detail in the opening, showing what's going to happen on in the season later on.
Hero hugging on Ando, his best friend Ando, and it's just like it shows a lot of Ichiro's family too. It's like so I'm having. They may have more of a part in the series as it goes on, but it's definitely the most visually stunning, the most, audio stunning opening that the series has. Endings, however, I don't like any of the endings personally, but if I had to choose one, Inuyashiki also wins that.
That was such a meh response, but I like the ending to Inuyashiki too. The show's just got it nailed down as far as opening and ending goes this season.
I mean, it's not as visually stunning. I think it's like a bunch of scratch drawings. People make the scratch drawings.
There's no visuals in it, but I like the song.
It was okay. But that's our choices. You let us know what your choices are in the comments below. It doesn't have to be the 5 that we watch. If there's a series we don't watch that you like that has a stunning opening and closing, let us know.
And just to advise you guys, there's not going to be one of these next week because I'm going to be out of here. I'm not going to be in the same city as Featherhoof here next week, so we're going to do another double episode.
Yes.
The week after.
So look forward to that. And for now, guys, we have to end this episode here. If you enjoyed it, please let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, share it, or you can click on the annotations for other videos we've done. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.